Hey, and welcome to Discard. Today I'm going to talk about a few more ways that you can display your Game Boy games in your game collection or game room. This is part 4. Let's take a look. So the first idea today actually came from another idea where I found out that Scrabble letter holders worked for DS and 3DS games. And that's a domino holder, and these domino trays work fantastic for Game Boy games. Now I went ahead and ordered a few different types of these in order to really test them out and see which ones work the best. And I found one that has 3 different grooves in it, and each groove holding 5 different games allows it to hold 15 different games. And that's a lot of games. And these are actually angled back so that you could see the dominoes, and that's perfect for Game Boy games so that you can see the artwork and really do what I'm always looking for, which is seeing the artwork and being able to easily access your games. This 3-groove domino tray actually comes with 3 in a pack. So altogether, you'll be able to hold 60 different games with every single one of these that are in the package. And the second domino tray that I picked up was just a single domino stand. And it holds 5 different cartridges, but it's just one. It has a really nice tall back on it, so you can hold a whole range of different types of games on this. It's super sturdy, it's got a nice heft to it, so it'll stay in place, and it doesn't take up too much space out of your collection. The pack of singles also comes in a pack of 4, so that's a ton of different games that you can display as well. When it comes down to it, I was pretty surprised that the domino trays actually worked really well for the Game Boy games, and I'm not going to be surprised when they work well for other handheld cartridges. This next idea actually comes in from a viewer of Discard who sent in a picture of their collection when I was trying to save my Pink Yoshi in a previous episode. When I saw this in their collection, I immediately sent them an email to ask them about it. So this is actually a 5-shelf acrylic display that's actually enclosed with a door, and it works great for displaying something on a wall or even putting it onto a countertop in your collection. Now, after doing some quick math and putting a ton of different cartridges into this display, I found that it holds around 96 to 100 different Game Boy games. So for some people who collect a bunch of Game Boy games, this might be an excellent way to display them in your collection. One thing to note about this display is that the top shelf is actually slightly smaller than the rest of the shelves. So you'll have to angle your Game Boy games backward in order to fit them in there properly. And because it's slightly smaller, it's going to hold a few less Game Boy games than the rest of your shelves. Some of the major benefits of this display is that it's made out of clear acrylic, which is a great display material. It's see-through, you can see all your games, you can see the artwork, and it works fantastic in that way. Another bonus is that it has a door on it in order to close it from all the dust and muck that's around your house or in your game room. This next stand actually comes from a store called Go Gamer Store on Etsy. And they make a few different things, not too many, but they make a stand for Game Boy games. And what makes this very unique is that it is a curved stand. This display stand will hold 7 different cartridges and hold them in style. And I certainly think it's an original idea for displaying your games. The stand is actually manufactured in a couple different pieces, one being the backing, one being the curve of it, and they kind of stick together and it works perfect. One thing I wasn't too happy with this is actually the color that I picked for the stand I was going for. I picked white so that it would fit in with my collection, and it's more of an off-white kind of yellowish color. So I definitely recommend checking out some of the other color options that they have and maybe going with those instead. But I do think that this is a pretty cool stand. If you have a small collection of games or a few different games that you want to display, this might be the way to go to do it kind of in a cool way. For the most part, I want people to get their games out of storage bins and onto their shelves and into cool displays. But this is one of the exceptions to the rule. These are actually storage bins that work great for Game Boy games. And these are the M-Design stackable plastic storage bins. And they're kind of long and thin and allow you to stack more of them on top of each other. So my initial idea was to put the Game Boy games facing the ends of these, but it turns out it works much better to face them towards the side. And that allows it to hold 48 different games per bin. Now the reason I like these over other storage bins is that these are actually completely clear versus other storage bins which are kind of foggy clear, and it just doesn't look good in a game collection or on a shelf. One of the more interesting features that these do have is that they do have handles on each side. So if you do need to store these or do need to move them quickly, you'll be able to pick them up easily and move them to a new area. Now these are another item that actually came in a pack of 2, which makes them pretty awesome. You can hold 48 different games in each one of these bins, and you can stack them on top of each other. And if you got enough of these, you could make an entire tower dedicated to them. And you don't have to limit them to Game Boy games or even other cartridges. Some of the amiibos actually fit inside of here, as well as other items that are in your game collection. So in the end, these might end up being a really cool Swiss Army knife of game displaying and storage. Now the last idea today actually comes from a company that keeps coming up over and over on Discard, and that's Cinco Play Retro Gaming. And they are on Etsy and have an Etsy store, and they make these awesome stands that are a completely original design. Now before this, Cinco Play actually only made stands for some of the larger cartridges that are in people's game collections. But they also let me know that they were going to be coming out with one that worked great for Game Boy games and other handheld games. Their stand holds 7 different cartridges, and it does it very well in a lot of different ways. First of all, their stand design is completely original. They actually have these small clips that go onto the board or the game itself to hold it up. And since it doesn't rely on anything else to hold up the cartridge, it makes it so the cartridge is the main focus of the stand. So for the most part, all you're going to see is your cartridges kind of going up in a tiered fashion. Another huge plus of these is that they have a very small depth. So you can put these in almost any location in your game collection. They're not too tall for any shelf. They can fit in the back of a shelf if you want to. They can fit in front of other games on a shelf. But since that depth is very small, it allows you to really put them anywhere you want and make your collection your own. And of course, Cinco Play's stands are also going to have the benefit of working for different types of cartridges. And this is no exception to that. It actually works for Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Gear, Neo Geo Pocket Color, Bandai WonderSwan, and the Atari Lynx. And that's a whole range of different cartridges, so when you purchase this, and it's at a very good price, you'll know that you can actually take your Game Boy cartridges off of it and use it for a different type of cartridge in the future if you end up wanting to change up your collection. On top of selling the 7 cartridge stands, they're also going to be selling individual stands, and that's a really great thing because personally, in my collection, I like to display individual cartridges that maybe I'm proud of or they're a rare game, and put those prominently on my shelf where I'll have the majority of the games somewhere else on a display in another location. But Cinco Play is definitely making some high quality stands made out of good material, and they have great attention to detail when they're making them. You're not going to get anything that is broken or messed up. These people take care in making something that's really nice and getting it to you in a proper fashion. So I definitely recommend checking them out and seeing what they got in their store. So thanks for coming and checking out Discard today. If you have any other ideas on how to display Game Boy games in your game room or game collection, please let me know in the comments below. I'm always looking for more ideas. This video was made possible by the patrons of Discard. If you're interested in helping past a subscription, please check out patreon.com/discard and check out all the awesome things that you can get for $2 a month. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe. But otherwise, have a great day and collect what you love. And one more thing, I actually found out recently that my TeePublic store had been messed with and a new shirt had arrived. And it's a Fish Dart shirt. And I thought we'd already taken care of Fish Dart. I thought he was in the past. But apparently someone likes him enough to put a new t-shirt out there. So if anybody has any ideas on why that showed up on my TeePublic store, please let me know.
Now I wonder how that happened. God, I gotta shave this beard.